like to invite Mr. Sanjay Dubey, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary General Administration Department and Science and Technology Department, Government of Madhya Pradesh. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Dubey.
Respected guests on the dais and off the dais. It's very heartening to listen to some of the brilliant speakers before me, and it's very difficult for matching the performance because they are the experts in the field. Being an IAS officer, we are generalists, and I actually had a general administration department to say so. But yes, in the second avatar, I would say I also had science and technology, and that justifies me being here because I don't consider myself to be as knowledgeable and as effective and as intelligent as most of the speakers before me were here. If I see it from the perspective of a government, it's always that the governments are there only for the citizens. You take out the citizens, you take out the populace, and the government is not required. We require government because we have citizens, and the governments are made, at least so-called claim to be made, for the purpose of the benefit of the citizens. We have been working, the government has always been in process of facilitating the services that are supposed to be delivered to the citizens. But with the advent of technology and the digital transformation that has happened, the change in the scenario has been very, very rapid. And the best part of it, not that now the people have IT-enabled solutions or not that people can access some of the services. What I feel is that it has reduced certain barriers which were earlier there between a citizen which is have and a have-not citizen who doesn't have the access to some of the government officials or to the services that the government used to offer. Be it Bhashni, which tells you that even if you don't know Hindi or English, you can actually access government service. Talk about railways. Now you can book your ticket from anywhere to anywhere. Earlier, if you have a connect, probably you can do it. But now there is no such differentiation between a person who has an access and who doesn't have an access. You talk about what Mr. Murthy has said, that if you are going to give a service, you have to see as to how this can be made available to the people. So the first thing that I see, the government has an advantage, and if they have a purpose of providing services, is the digital transformation has led to the accessibility. It's now available to everybody. It's available to anyone and anyone from anywhere, and they don't have to visit. So, as I see as a government officer, the digital transformation is letting the people to go and approach government for the services or the delivery of services that they are expecting, and that is the big support system that we have been able to provide. The second is the transparency. Now, since you have so much of a data, you don't actually have to look at certain things. And even the RTI, which was enacted with the purpose of getting the information to the citizen if they desire to have it, but we didn't have a data. We didn't have a database, and we have to search through the papers and the files, and every time it was denied on one pretext or another. Now that is not going to be happening because there will be so much of a data availability that people cannot deny you the services. So the transparency would come in because of the digital transformation, and that I feel is a very, very big step for the good governance if the governments are willing to provide that kind of a governance. The third one, which I feel from the government's point of view, is the efficiency that we have to look at. Now imagine if you have to cull out information. To give you an example of General Administration Department, there are multiple cabinet decisions which keep happening. And suddenly there is an officer who gets transferred and gets hold of a department. He doesn't have any idea as to what has transpired 5 years down the line. And the institutional memory is very limited to some of the people who were serving in that department, and then they are the custodian of that knowledge, and as we all know, that knowledge is power, so they become the most powerful person despite or irrespective of anybody who comes in that place. Now that dependence to one particular individual and the knowledge creates an asymmetry which is not desirable in the government. So if I as a person, I join in the government and I see that this is what is going to happen, I am dependent on somebody else. Now this is not going to be happening anymore because there is so much of information that is available within the government, in the system, that one can easily cull it out. And here is the examples where we can actually leverage the technology, the data which has got generated. And the challenge for me, and as I see it, we have now immense amount of data, the trillion and billion bits and bytes of information that is available, how to use it. If you have so much of information, if it doesn't become an actionable input to you for making the decision, then it is a worthless amount of information that has got transferred from papers to now in a digital format. And here is where we have to look at that how do we leverage this information that is available to us, the data that is available to us, and there are certain examples which we have to see, and there can be many more, and some of us have already given those kind of an example. But I see that whatever examples has been taken, I take you to two-three different perspectives. The initiative the government of Madhya Pradesh is doing along with the government of India. One is the Sampada software that we have developed. You would be surprised that Madhya Pradesh is the only state which has created its cyber tehsils. So practically for getting a mutation or a division or diversion getting done, you don't have to visit any government office. You apply online, the person out there does not know you. You don't even know where this case or your application is going to land. And to tell you, there is one single tehsildar who does the mutation, division and everything sitting here in Bhopal without any approach, without any access. And not only that, he passes the order. The moment he passes the order, the mutation, the division, the other changes happen in the back end because the data integration has happened. So if we have a data and we don't integrate it, then the usefulness of that data doesn't happen. And that is what the beauty of this system is. Then there is a land record which is now getting transferred. There is a registration department information which is there. There is another information flow which is coming from the legal side that there are no disputes or cases which are pending against. Then there is a hierarchical system or the hereditary system which is also integrated into it. And all of these databases are talking simultaneously when the order is being passed. So the moment you purchase a land, the mutation application moves on its own to the tehsildar's office. Tehsildar office passes an order, it gets updated into land records, and you get a copy on your WhatsApp or an email. Imagine the kind of a benefit. You don't have to run to any other offices. And if it is in an urban area, then the property gets registered in the municipal corporation. If it is in rural area, it goes into the panchayat records simultaneously at the click of the moment, and that is the beauty that you don't have to run around and do it. So until unless we leverage the data that is going to be happening, the digital transformation is not going to help. The second example that I give is about the insurance. Earlier what used to happen because of the crop damage, whether it is drought or deluge, the crop damages, the claims were to be made, the insurance companies would ask for a survey to be done, and the survey report would always be contested because the insurance company would say the damage has not happened to that extent, while the farmers would continue to claim, and the governments are at loggerhead trying to pacify both sides, justifying that the action taken by the government officials is transparent and justified. But what we have done in Madhya Pradesh is now we have 100% geo-referenced analysis, the Girdavri we call, the documentation of the crop that is being sown into that particular field, and it is done at the time when the sowing happens. So you have a data with a georeferencing, it gets uploaded on our GIS platform. What happens is you also have multiple levels of information which is about the growth of a crop, and you have a drone technology built into it so as to survey this, so as to have the analysis of what the health of a particular crop in a particular area is. Now the moment there is a drought or a deluge, you have this information that who all people were affected, to what extent were they affected, and you would be surprised that the insurance claims of Madhya Pradesh farmers are getting settled in 3 days' time, which used to take 3 months to 3 years because there was a lot of dispute. Now insurance companies have this information that nobody can manipulate this information. The farmer has the confidence that whatever is being done is upright. The government has this confidence that when we are doing this, we are actually disbursing these insurance claims to the rightful people. Now this is what the beauty of the technology is, and until we do this, it is a difficult thing. And third example, and I close on it, now with the CCTNS and NCRB, and I know Sanjay talk something about it. But we have immense amount of data on the criminals, their backgrounds, their records, their movements and everything. But still we are lacking in one thing. Are we able to predict that what next incident or accident is going to take place? So if we start profiling the type of crime that is being committed by the persons who are being committed, actually we will be in position to say that next attack of a particular group of criminals can happen in this location, and that is the beauty of this AI technology with the digital transformation. So unless we go a step ahead, is a huge amount of data which is getting generated, populated with CCTNS, and it's being populated in the sense that if somebody is committing a crime in Madhya Pradesh and the same individual tries and do the crime in Maharashtra, and both of them are profiled and there is a match which is happening in the way that the crime is committed, or some video footages that has been recovered, or the way the person is moving, the digital images that is happening, the signatures that a person is leaving behind, if they get integrated, possibility is that we will be able to predict that the next possible location of an attack by the same person or the same group of person would be in such a location. A very simple example is that if there is a beat and there is a time at which the crime of chain snatching is happening, if we are able to pattern that, possibly we will be posting a particular beat guard at that location, and you would realize that in that particular time hours, if there is a beat person there, the crime rate will go down. And there are examples which has happened in that fashion. So what I see as an administrator is that you now have the technology, because the storage is not a problem. The security and cyber security is an issue, and the privacy comes with that. That needs to be handled. And if we are able to have a very cheap cost of data storage, which we already have, we have open source systems of generating and upgrading our softwares. If we marry these two, taking care of the cyber security, there is an immense opportunity available for the benefit of the citizen. And I conclude that if the governments are open to the idea that the technology can leverage their function, minimize the barriers that the citizen and the government has in between, that is the success and the beauty of the governance. So the ideal time would be that next time you don't see an officer behind a system and you don't have to approach or know an officer, that is the success of the government. So maximum governance with minimum government is what should be the objective and the idea behind using this digital transformation. And if we are moving in that direction, with how much speed, with how much efficiency we are able to achieve is the challenge that we have to see. So there are a lot of opportunities that need to be taken care of, and if we are aware of this, each one of us sitting in this room has to take advantage of that situation and try and see that the digital transformation actually leads to the efficiency, the transparency, the accessibility, and the good governance. Thank you very much, and I wish all the best and the success of this conference. Thank you.